This is an instructional video on how to subtract while in scientific notation. Just like when we add in scientific notation, we're going to use the same steps. We're going to type the entire problem in on the calculator, including the parentheses, and just like before, we may have to edit our final answer. So in your calculator, we're going to type it in exactly as we see it, parentheses first, then the 7.4 times 10. We're going to do our exponent button, which is the little caret top symbol, with our exponent 15, minus use your parentheses again around the second type of problem, 9.9 times 10. Our exponent button, the little caret top symbol on the left-hand side, for the exponent 13, and close your parentheses. In this instance, the calculator does give us the final answer of 7.301 times 10 to the 15th power. These instances will occur when the number is too large to fit on the calculator screen. It will give you the answer in scientific notation. For the next problem, again, type it in exactly as you see it written. Parentheses have to be around both parts of problems. So it's around the 9 times 10 to the negative third. And it's around the 4 times 10 to the negative third. When we subtract those two, we get the decimal point, 0.005. We do not want that answer as it is not in scientific notation. To be in scientific notation, the decimal point has to go behind the first number. The first number that's not a 0 is a 5. To go behind the 5, we have to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 times. So when we write the final answer, we do not write the zeros. We simply write the whole number 5. Always write times 10. And our exponent is going to be to the negative third. We move the decimal 3 times, but the zeros in the front of the number represent a small number. Small numbers are represented by negative exponents. In October 2009, there were approximately 5 times 10 to the 7th members of a website. In January 2013, there were approximately 2 times 10 to the 8th members. How many more members were there in January than October 2009? Write your answer in scientific notation. So when you get the question of how many more means to subtract. And we want to subtract in order. So we want to subtract January 2013. So January 2013 is 2 times 10 to the 8th. And we're going to subtract October 2009, 5 times 10 to the 7th. Now, this problem does not have parentheses, but we still have to type them in on the calculator. We type them around both sets of problems. So parentheses, 2 times 10 to the 8th power, minus parentheses, 5 times 10 to the 7th power. And we get the answer of 15 followed by 7 zeros. This answer is not in scientific notation, so we have to rewrite it. In a whole number, the decimal starts off here at the end. We want to move it till it is behind the first number. To move the decimal point, we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. When we write our final answer, we only write the 1.5. We do not write the zeros. We always write times 10. And it's to the positive 8th power because that is a large number. Large numbers are represented by positive exponents. Somerville has a population of 430,000 people, while Eagleton has a population of 5.7 times 10 to the 5th people. What is the difference in population between the two towns? Write your answer in scientific notation. So for this problem, the word difference means subtract. And so we are going to subtract the two numbers together. We're going to subtract both the scientific notation number and the standard notation number, 430,000. We do not have to use parentheses for this problem because they are not in scientific notation. only one of them, and so that is fine. You can still use your parentheses if you so prefer, if that's easier for you. And so when we subtract, the calculator gives us the answer of 140,000. We want the answer to be in scientific notation, so we're going to take the decimal point here at the end of the number. We're going to move it till it is behind the first number. And to do that, we have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. When we write the final answer, we do not write the zeros. We only write the 1.4. Always write times 10 and to the 5th power. As it is a large number, it is represented by positive exponents. In 2013, the Los Angeles Dodgers opening day payroll was about 2.16 times 10 to the 8th, and the Houston Astros opening day payroll was about 2.4 times 10 to the 7th. How much higher was the Dodgers payroll? So again, if we're asking how much higher, how much more, how much longer, that how much means subtract. So we're going to start with the Dodgers because that's what's listed first. And so we start with the 2.16 times 10 to the 8th. We're going to subtract the Astros payroll of 2.4 times 10 to the 7th. Now these are both in scientific notation, so we do have to use the parentheses for this problem when we type it in the calculator. So type it in, parentheses 2.16 times 10 raised to the 8th power minus parentheses 2.4 times 10 raised to the 7th power. And we get the answer of 192 followed by 6 zeros. We want the answer to be in scientific notation. So we're going to take the decimal point, which is located here at the end of the number. We're going to move it till it is at the front behind the first number. To do that, we have to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. When we write the final answer, we only write the 1.92. We do not write the zeros. You always write times 10, and we write it to the 8th power because we move the decimal 8 times. In 2006, about 1.9 times 10 to the 7th, that 7 should be an exponent. It didn't get typed in the small right-hand corner like it should have. People visited Blue Ridge Parkway. That same year, about 9.3 times 10 to the 6th, again, same thing happened. It did not get typed small in that corner. People visited the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. How many more people visited Blue Ridge Parkway than Great Smoky Mountains National Park in 2006? So again, that question, how many more, means to subtract. And we subtract in order. So the Blue Ridge Parkway goes first, which is the 1.9 times 10 to the 7th. And then the Great Smoky Mountains goes second, which is 9.3 times 10 to the 6th. Both of these problems are in scientific notation, so we do have to use parentheses when we type it in the calculator. So type it in as 1.9 times 10 to the 7th power. And then the second part, do the minus, the parentheses, 9.3 times 10 raised to the 6th power. And we get the answer of 97 followed by 5 zeros. That answer is not in scientific notation. We want to take the decimal point here at the very end. We want to move it to the front behind the first number. To do that, we move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. When we write the final answer, we only write the 9.7. We do not write the zeros. We write it as times 10, and our exponent is a positive 6. About 8.73 times 10 to the 8th people in the world speak Chinese. About 3.22 times 10 to the 8th speak Spanish. In scientific notation, how many more people speak Chinese than Spanish? So again, the question, how many more, means to subtract. And we're going to subtract the Chinese first. So Chinese is 8.73 times 10 to the 8th. And then we subtract the Spanish, which is 3.22 times 10 to the 8th. Both of these problems are in scientific notation, so we do need to use parentheses when we type it in. Parentheses 8.73 times 10 to the 8th power. minus, and then again using parentheses for the second problem, 3.22 times 10 raised to the 8th power. And we get the answer of 551 followed by 6 zeros. That answer is not in scientific notation. We want to take the decimal point, which starts out here at the very end. We want to move it to the front behind the first whole number. To do that, we move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. When we write our final answer, we only write the 5.51. We do not write the zeros. Times 10 to the positive 8th power. The distance between Memphis and San Francisco is 1.2 times 10 to the 3rd miles. The distance from Memphis and Nashville is 2.5 times 10 to the 2nd. How much further is San Francisco than Nashville from Memphis? So again, when we're asking the question how much further, how much more, we're asking to subtract. So we're going to subtract San Francisco first. San Francisco is the 1.2 times 10 to the 3rd power. And then we're going to subtract Nashville, which is 2.5 times 10 to the 2nd. Both of these problems are in scientific notation, so we need to make sure that when we type it in on the calculator, we use parentheses. So around the first problem, we're going to do parentheses 1.2 times 10 to the 3rd power. Minus, and then again, the second problem in parentheses, 2.5 times 10 to the 2nd power. And we get the answer of 950. 950 is not in scientific notation. We want to take our decimal point here at the end. We want to move it behind the first number 9. And so we go 1, 2 times. When we write our final answer, we do not write the 0. We only write 9.5. We always write times 10, and it's to the positive 2nd power.